I have been known as the queen of the side hustle. I have had a million little side part-time jobs. Everything from a Texas Hold'em pit boss to a speed dating host. I flipped perfume on eBay. Anything I could get my hands on. But I really found that my passion was in cheese and bees. I was also really inspired by the specialty foods world. I was, and still am, a cheesemonger at the Houston Dairy Maids. Just seeing people coming in, buying really lovely cheeses and cured meats and all the lovely stuff that would go on a cheese board inspired me to bring hyperlocal honey to Houstonians. I always wanted to have bees. I saw a PBS documentary in the early 2000s about the life in a year of an apiary. And I thought, I can do that. I want bees. And about 10 years later, I got my first hive. So I had been pursuing that as a passion for that decade of time. And my boyfriend bought me a beehive for my birthday one year. And I started beekeeping in my backyard. I think when I started, they said the average age of a beekeeper was pushing 80. So it was definitely a little bit of a culture shock to have me in my first bee club. I was the only person my age, definitely the only one with pink hair. Yeah, I really stuck out. They were just like, oh, that's interesting that you're here. Like, what are you doing here? You have bees? I was like, yeah. I felt a little out of place when I started beekeeping. That has started to change over time. There are a lot of younger people, a lot of women, a lot of families, a lot of people of color now beekeeping. But you know, it's still kind of run by you know, the older beekeeper. Making it a whole business was something else. My boyfriend, Brendan, he is an entrepreneur himself, and he really inspired me to kind of start my own thing and see if I could do it too. And I learned very quickly that it was something I wanted to do all the time. I ended up quitting my full-time job. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do was to have the courage to leave my full-time job. I had been thinking about it for a few weeks, and I just held my breath and did it one day. I had been with the company for 5-6 years. I was kind of almost like one of the faces of the company. So it was very hard for me to just say, sorry, I'm gonna go run in the fields with the bees. My biggest challenges starting my business was lack of funding. I started kind of on a whim. I did not have a nest egg or much savings whatsoever to get started. So I had to raise money, and I did that via Indiegogo. It raised about $13,500, $14,000, which to me was a lot at the time, but it's very little to start a business. I also took out some money out of my 401k, which was really scary because you're really not supposed to do that. But I honestly thought the business may not be financially viable. And I said, okay, at the end of the year, if I'm not making a profit, I need to find something else. And I changed my business a bit and started doing more farmers markets and just kind of scrapping things together and doing what I could to get by. It really changed my business. I love introducing people to the concept of hyperlocal honey, having them be able to taste one neighborhood versus another and see how different a forage pattern and how different the honey could be from one place to another. It really blows people's minds. I love introducing people to beekeeping in general and educating them. Having someone open a beehive for the first time and start to understand how they work. It's fun to get people into this just complete fascination with the honeybee. It's really awesome. The advice I would give someone who wants to turn their passion into a business is to really consider what it would be like to make your passion or your hobby or something you love your work. It then becomes a job. You may not love it as much if you have to do it every day, but I still am glad that I turned my hobby into a job. In the next 3 to 5 years, I consider myself still in Houston. Houston's a big place. I have a lot of room to expand. We've been adding more retailers and more farmers markets, and I feel like the sky's the limit.
That's just how far I would